The creative curriculum is a great way of instilling those soft skills that we really want pupils to have, like the ability to work cooperatively, to think creatively, and to show confidence in their work. But actually, we can use that creative curriculum to directly input and act as an intervention for parts of the curriculum. And I'm going to take you through some of the techniques and some of the video ideas that we use in school, in the schools that I work in. There's a common approach to all of these videos pretty much that I'm going to show you. They're in series, and each series has its own title and then its own structure, its own way of producing the content for that video. The reason for this is that if the pupils have a clear idea what the structure of each type of video is, then they're capable of producing the video with fairly minimal technical input and technical support from the staff, and that's really important if we're going to involve lots of media in school. We also have a general structure for all videos, and once that's instilled in the pupils, again it speeds up their video production, and it means that they're capable of producing videos under pretty much their own direction. Each video is always in 3 parts. The first part of the video is an introduction where the pupils say hello and explain what the video is going to be about. The middle section is the main part of the video, so the biography, the non-chronological report, the math technique that they're teaching, and the final part of the video is always a summation and then a clear signal that the video has ended. And actually producing any kind of a presentation with a beginning, a middle and an end is an essential part of anybody's communication skills. So let's take a look at some of the videos I've been producing in the schools that I work in. Now, maths is surprisingly suited to the creative curriculum and to media. The main video that we produce is some sort of explainer video that normally goes by the title of, for example, Newington Explainers or Adelaide Explainers, depending on the school that I'm working in. So they're explainer videos. The pupils are teaching or demonstrating the math technique that they're learning at the time, or the math concept that they're working on at the time. It can be used as a form of intervention, so the pupils that are really struggling can be using this as a way of gaining the skills and the understanding that they need. At the other end of the spectrum, the pupils that are pushing at the edge of mastery can use it to more deeply explore the maths that they're working on. And actually in the middle, the pupils that have maybe nearly got the concept but need more work can use it to step over that kind of boundary to understanding. Although this is a video, actually a lot of the work is in the preparation, because the pupils are making sure they're using the correct technique in the correct order, which they need to do because they're teaching, and because they're having to use precise mathematical language, because again they're attempting to communicate, and because they have to rehearse the video they're making several times. Actually what they're doing is they're revisiting the math concepts over and over again to produce a high quality end result. But in the process of producing that high quality end result, they're having to revisit concepts in a way that is actually engaging and interesting and doesn't feel like a chore. This is a section from a typical maths explainer video that we make in school.
So we can't do this because it's not in the five times tables. So we need to do the smallest number that is in the five times tables, and we do that answer, and then this number that you didn't use is the remainder.
We have 2 main strands to support the English curriculum. The first one is a series called The Writers' Cafe. The reason why it was called The Writers' Cafe is because we were donated a cafe table and some chairs. In the end we never used them, but it gave us an idea for a name for the show. In The Writers' Cafe, the pupils are writers showing off and teaching some writing techniques to other pupils, but they're doing it as writers. That's the idea behind the show. Now these techniques could be highly grammatical. They could be teaching how to use commas. They could be structural. They could be teaching how to write a biography, for example, or they could be creative. They could be looking at how to use adjectives to power up the language that they're using in their story writing, for example. Again, this works as an intervention for the pupils that are maybe struggling with some of those ideas in English. It can be used as an extension for those pupils that are, again, pushing around the boundaries of what they already know. So maybe they can produce something that is of a higher quality because they're in a smaller group. And also, again, those pupils that maybe have nearly got commas, but they need to revisit it in a way that doesn't feel like you're hammering the concepts at them again and again, because they're rehearsing how to use commas. They're actually learning it while they're teaching it. This video shows you the edited highlights of a video the writers made about the wonderful world of commas.
Hello, welcome to the Writers Cafe. Today we're going to show you how to use a comma.
You use a comma after a fronted adverbial. As an example, today I went to the shops.
You use it when, for example, you write a list. Today I went to the shops to buy milk, eggs, butter, fruit and clothes.
You can use a comma to separate clauses. For example, today I went to the shops to buy eggs, butter, fruit, milk and clothes, but they were closed.
Who is speaking and the speech. For example, Aaron said today I went to the shops to buy milk, eggs, butter, fruit and clothes, but they were closed.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!
The second way we support the English curriculum, and this is one of my favourites, is the book discussion show. Normally it ends up with a title like The Big Book Bonanza or The Reading Corner or something like that. It's based on the reading mastery or reading response or guided reading, as schools call it, the part of the English lesson where pupils answer questions based on a text, normally from a book that they read for the whole half term. Now, there are some specific practicalities to producing this show. We select a couple of the pupils in the class that are the more articulate, the more engaging, and the ones that are pushing around the edges of comprehension. They are answering the questions very quickly and they really need a bit more from the curriculum that we're providing them. And we give them the task of producing the show themselves. So they have to look through the questions, work out what kind of discussions they're going to create around those questions, and then we give them an iPad or a camera and a few weeks training, and then we get them to produce the show themselves. So at the end of every week they turn what they've been doing in guided reading into a discussion, they video it, and then they store it in some way. And by the end of the year you will have an excellent record of discussions taking place in class. And don't forget that discussion around literature is part of the national curriculum. What I'm going to show you now is just a small sample of all the book discussion programmes that the Year 5s produced under their own direction last year.
Hello and welcome to Newton Book Bonanza. Today we're talking about the book called Volcanoes.
We're on chapter 1 and we have some guests with us today.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to Newton Book Bonanza.
Today we're going to be talking about the book Volcano, chapter 3, Fire Piece.
Hello and welcome to Newton Book Bonanza. Today we are talking about the book called Volcano.
We're on chapter 3 and we have some guests with us today.
Roland, Arvin,
And I'm Grace.
and I'm Yusuf. So can you tell us what's been happening in the book so far, Roland? So Cam went on holiday, but he didn't really like it, so...
When it comes to topic and project work, obviously there's a massive range of approaches that you can use, quite often depending on the topics that you're covering. But what I'm actually going to look at is two particular pieces of software. The first piece of software is Spark Video, which is part of the Adobe Spark suite. It's a bit like recording PowerPoint presentations. It's video presentation software. So imagine that you could record a video of a PowerPoint presentation. It really suits things like non-chronological reports or biographies and even science reports. And with very little training, the pupils can produce their own reports in class, in pairs or individually with minimal input. Once again, this is a great intervention tool. For pupils with low literacy, this is a way of completing a non-chronological report or a biography before they put pen to paper, thereby ensuring that they do complete the task that's assigned, whether they complete it as a written task or not. For pupils that work really quickly, this is a chance for them to revisit the work that they produced in their project work and find another way of telling the same story or putting across the same facts and the same ideas. And because this is media, there's actually a higher bandwidth of communication to some degree, because there's visual communication, there's the use of fonts and the use of colours and the use of images to reinforce the ideas and the facts that are being put across. And this is actually part of mastery of a subject. What I'm going to show you now is a video made completely independently by a pair of Year 4 pupils. What I really like about this video is that it shows not only the communication skills they've learned in English, but a thorough understanding of how video works as a medium.
Hi, my name's Amelia.
And my name's Jasmine.
And today, if you want to learn about mammoths, watch this slide. What did they eat?
Find out on the next slide.
They ate
Grass and plants. How did they fight?
Find out on the next slide. They used
Their tusks.
How did they become extinct?
Find out on the next slide.
People used to think they went extinct because of hunters hunting them.
But now,
People think they went extinct because of the starvation from the Ice Age.
thanks for watching.
Bye.
The second piece of software I'm going to recommend is OBS, or Open Broadcast Software, and I'm going to give you 2 ways to use it. OBS is free to use and should work on any laptop or even any computer. The first idea is the news report. If you're producing newspaper reports as part of English or part of topic work, then it's a very small step from a newspaper report to a TV news report. All you need is a good TV studio, and OBS gives you that. At the beginning of the project or the beginning of the year, you can set up a scene on this software where you can put ticker tape along the bottom, you can put news lower thirds and bugs in the corners. You can even, if you've got a green screen, have an entire TV studio behind the students. And then when it comes to producing their TV news, all they need to do is take the newspaper report that they've written and do a little bit of work to convert it into the script for a TV report. And because of the way this software works, all the pupils really need to do is sit in the TV studio that you've created, press the record button, read out their report and press the stop button, and then the computer will save the video complete with all of the backgrounds and the foregrounds. Not only that, it will be time-stamped and date-stamped when the video was produced.
There has been a massive tsunami in the Indian Ocean, and we are here with geologist Dr. Leon, who is going to tell us what has caused the tsunami.
Well, what has caused the tsunami is an eruption under the Indian Ocean with the tectonic plates pushing miles of water upwards.
OBS is also really great for green screen. Now, if you've got iPads in school, the latest version of iMovie has an amazing green screen add-on, and I would recommend that you take a look at that. But for a much more simple and straightforward way of using green screen, I would still recommend OBS. Because of the way OBS works, the green screen is recorded live and there's no need to go back and do any editing to make the green screen work, which is what you're going to have to do on pretty much every other piece of software that uses green screen. All you really need for green screen, apart from the software, is a green piece of cloth. Actual green screen cloth these days is really cheap, or you could even just paint a wall green. It could be part of the classroom, it could be another, perhaps multi-purpose part of the school. So from a practical point of view, if you did want to use green screen and OBS, what you would need to do at the beginning of a project that you're covering is find background images or background videos you want to use, put them onto the software, and then set up the software so that it will work with green screen. And then again, you can just let the pupils do the work that they're doing, the presentations that they're doing, read out the stories that they're reading, do the acting that they're acting out with the background. And again, the background will be recorded along with the video, so you have no more to do then. The pupils hit the record button, do what they're doing, hit the stop button, and the video will record the date and time of the recording as well. In this presentation, I've shown you the major ways that we use media in our schools, but actually there are lots and lots of different ways, and you're really only limited by what you happen to be doing in school, what your facilities are, and your imagination. Media isn't just an add-on in the schools where I work, it's an integral part of the curriculum, and it can be in yours too.